Hi there, thank you so much for downloading this free video on Google Analytics for business managers and owners. If you run a business, I believe it's really important that you know at least a little bit about Google Analytics. In today's day and age, your website is so important to what you do, and Google offers this free tool of analytics that lets us see who is visiting our website, where they are coming from, and what they are doing when they're on our web pages. In this short 15-minute video, I'm going to show you through the 4 main sections of analytics and what you can look out for that will then help you have better conversations with whomever is looking after your website and web marketing going forward. So guys, please enjoy this. I hope it's useful for you. Feel free to comment or ask me anything you wish on the contact details provided at the end, and best of luck with your web marketing going forward. Hi guys, so let's first look at logging into analytics, and here I have a normal web browser, and what I'm going to do is browse to analytics.google.com. This will bring me up to this sign-in screen that you can see here, and what I'm going to do is log in with my Google account that is connected to analytics. Now if you don't know what that is for you, just have a chat with your IT team or your web guys and they'll be able to help you. But essentially you should have a login for analytics, which is a Google account. So I'm just going to put mine in here, and we'll see that I'm going to log in, and this will show up my overall analytics account. Now because I work in web marketing, there's quite a few websites here, so I'm going to browse down to the very kind clients who have let me use their analytics data to chat through with you guys today. And what you will see is far less accounts on view, but you'll see one rather like this one with a drop down. So when you click on that account, which is yours, you'll get a drop down, and we want to go to main view to view our analytics settings. So the first thing you'll see when you log in is the audience overview, and analytics in its essence separates down into different sections on the left hand side here, and today we're going to look at audience acquisition, behavior and conversions. So 4 areas that you just need to know a little bit about being a business owner or manager. So by default you land here on audience overview, and here we can see over the last 30 days the number of sessions, the number of users, the number of page views, the average number of pages viewed per session, the average session duration, so the average amount of time that people have spent on our site in each visit, the bounce rate, and the percentage of new sessions. So let's just go through those in a little more detail. So sessions is the number of individual visits to your website. Now one user can visit your site more than once and hence can create more than one session. So that's why our number of sessions is always greater than our number of users. Now altogether, if we count up all the different individual web pages that those 6,675 users viewed, we get quite a significant figure of 38,500 more or less. Of those 6,675 users, on average per session they visited just over 4 pages on this site. So that's quite a healthy figure, where people are obviously looking at the site, quite engaged by it. And that session duration is currently standing at 2 minutes 30. So people are spending a good amount of time on the site too. Bounce rate is something I get asked about a lot, and people will say, what is a good bounce rate? And that actually greatly varies across different industries and different websites. The important thing is, what is your bounce rate? So here we have a figure at 43.88%. What we'll be looking for going forward from there are not necessarily going to compare that bounce rate with any other business, but more looking within the site at web pages which have a higher bounce rate than that, and therefore are perhaps less useful, less engaging, or other web pages which have significantly less of a bounce rate than that, and asking ourselves, why are they holding people more than the other pages we have? So the final figure here is the new sessions, 65.77. That's pretty healthy. However, it's also always good to look at the returning visitor figure too. For most businesses out there, it's the returning visitor who becomes a customer. So we may encounter a business through its website on the first visit, but it might take us 2 or 3 more visits. We might want to go and compare them with other people, all those things, before we actually become a customer. So we need a good amount of returning visitors to sit alongside our new visitor number. So I just want to show you something else that we can access via the audience panel, this drop down here, and that is the mobile traffic. Let's just have a look here. And with so many people these days viewing the internet on different devices, it's always a good thing to know what that significance is for your site. So again, mobile traffic varies greatly across different websites and across different industries. So we can see here that over half of the traffic to this site comes from tablets and mobiles. So that's pretty much a modern day 2016 website in all kinds of ways. But what it's also important for us to note is that this being an e-commerce site, the vast majority of transactions take place on desktop. Now that doesn't mean that the tablet and mobile traffic is less important. It might mean that people research the site initially on mobile phones and tablets and then come to make their purchase on desktop. So it tells us more perhaps about how the customer behaves when they're encountering our website than it does what is the most important to us. We want all visitors. It's just really about understanding what devices people view our site on and what they're probably doing on those devices. So after we've looked at those two factors on audience, let's go and look at acquisition. Now acquisition tells us how people have found our website, and there are certain common things that we discover within acquisition which every site tends to have. So let's just look down these factors and see how people have found this website. So number one is organic search. So that is people typing queries into Google and finding our site through what we call the natural listings. So most keywords these days tend to have a number of ads at the very top, and underneath that we have what we call the natural listings, and that is organic search. So when we're asking our web guys to help us with SEO, that is asking them to help us enhance our rankings in the natural search. Number two here is paid search, and that is this particular website paying for ads that appear for specific keywords at the top part of the Google results page to direct people to this site. Number three, referral, is third-party websites sending people to us. So this site has quite a healthy number of referrals from other sites, and it's always good to know which sites are sending you traffic. So if you want to, you can go and click in here and have a look at what sites are actually referring people to you. Direct is people actually typing in our web address. So whatever your website address is, direct traffic is people who've typed that in and visited your site. Other is things which do not fall into any of the above categories. It can be all kinds of things. It might even be email traffic. If you do an e-shot, it could be any third-party advertising that you do on a third-party site, any of those things. And then number six there is social. So that is referrals from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, so on, so on. So Google by default shows the sources of traffic to our site in order of number of sessions that they have sent. So organic has sent 3,384, whereas paid search is 2,942. Now, that doesn't mean that organic search has resulted in the best outcomes for our website. And that's worth asking your web guys about. So okay, this is our number one traffic source. Is it also our number one action source? Whatever the action is that you want people to do from your site. So in this case, for this site, it's e-commerce. And if we go over here, for example, and we rank the sources of traffic to the site in order of e-commerce success, we can see that referral actually has the highest conversion rate to e-commerce. Paid search is second, direct is third, organic is actually fourth, despite being the number one traffic source. And so it might make us think about the sources of traffic to our site in a different way. We can have a traffic source that doesn't send too much traffic at all, but it's very, very good for us, and therefore is really valid. So that's just a quick point on the difference between quantity of visits to outcome. So the next thing I want to show you is under behavior, which is the next panel down. And here I'm going to take you to site content and all pages. And what this will show you is the pages that are the most popular on your site. It lists all the pages on your site in order of popularity. So we can see with our number one pages, you can see that that pulls, in this case, just over 16% of all the traffic to the site. It's actually pulling more traffic than the home page, which probably means it's the focus of some of the CPC cost per click advertising that we saw earlier. If your site has a lot of pages like this one does, then Google by default will show you the top 10, but we can easily change that by coming down here and choosing anything up to 5,000. So in this case, this site has over 800 pages, so if I wanted to see them all, I would simply choose 1,000 and let analytics list them all out, just like that. And we can spend a bit of time looking through there and finding out what pages are important to our website, which ones are less so. And when we spoke earlier on, just at the start of this video, about bounce rate and how it's not really about whether a bounce rate is good or bad, it's more about what is your overall bounce rate and how does the individual pages on your site sit in and around that. So here our main page has a bounce rate of just over 28%, which, if we remember, the average bounce rate on the site was 43. So that is a good page for this website. This one down here, the thank you page, has a bounce rate of 87%. Now that's not too much of a problem because we expect people to disappear from our site once they've reached the thank you page. That's pretty standard. But as we look down here, we might find a page that has a very high bounce rate like this one. It's not a thank you page, it's actually a blog post. So what is it about that page that causes such a high bounce rate? Is traffic hitting it that is not finding what it's looking for? And is there something we can do about that to make it more engaging? Okay, so let's continue on down and let's look at conversions. So every website has a goal, and that goal is usually one of two things. So it's either the desire from our side, so our site wants people to sign up for something, so therefore we want people to give us their email address in return for something, or we might want them to fill out a contact form if we want to generate incoming leads that we can pursue. Or in this case, if it's an e-commerce site, then your conversions will be registered here under the e-commerce section. And this is where you'll be able to measure your website traffic against sales, actual sales for you. So as long as you have something set up here, be it a contact goal, register for something, or fill out a contact form to you, or e-commerce sales actually flowing into your analytics, you have something there to register your website traffic against. If you go to this section and find there's nothing there, then talk to your web guys about that. Set something up. Whatever it is, whatever you can measure as a good outcome from your site is worth putting in there. So you just have something to measure your whole website traffic against. And so guys, that is it. We've been through the 4 main sections there of analytics: audience, acquisition, behavior and conversions, and looked at something that you can view in there to evaluate for yourself how your website is doing for you via the free and fantastic tool that Google offers us. I hope that's been useful. Thank you very much.